Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We're so glad you're here. If you're new here, the voice behind the camera is Dance Brewer. My name is Candy. That's my nickname. People call me Candy. And this is my spouse, Mitchell. Most of you guys know him. And today, Mitch has something to share with you guys. Right?
Yep.
All right, I'm just going to let Mitch tell you what he wants to tell you because he knows more about what's going on than I do. I'm just here. So if I have anything I want to throw in, I'll just speak over him probably. All right, go ahead, honey.
You just work here.
I just work here. I don't make the rules.
Okay, so you may have noticed over the last several, however long, if you've been watching for very long. If you haven't, then we're good to go.
Or you can go back and
watch
videos from 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. But you may have noticed if you've been watching for a little while that some different changes to my appearance. And I know people are probably pretty curious about that.
People are asking questions.
Yeah. And so I think that I'm ready to talk about that to some degree in this video. So basically, I am transgender. And it came to my attention that not everybody knows what that means. So, transgender is a general term that describes people whose gender identity or their internal sense of being male or female or something else does not match the sex they were assigned at birth, which is when the doctor looks at you and says, it's a boy or it's a girl, based on just a body part. By contrast, the term cisgender describes people whose gender identity does align. So if you're not trans, you're cisgendered. A lot of people get confused by that. But so anyway, I am transgender, and so that means basically my gender identity doesn't match the shape and look of my body.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, have you always been transgender? Because when I met you...
That was very good.
Huh?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Because anyway, when I met you, almost 20 years ago, you didn't say that, and I thought you were the sexiest person I had ever met, and I couldn't wait to get with you, and we had so much fun, and then we ended up getting married, and it wasn't until years and years and years and years later that this came out. So have you been this way or known it your entire life, or when did you first feel this way?
Okay, that's a good question. I first, at a very young age, I knew something was off. Something was different about me. I did not fit into this world. And it was probably by about age 10 to 11 that I started to figure it out and actually gain vocabulary to put my experience to, oh, this is what's going on with me. And then I want to say it was about age 11. So I was 10 years old. I kind of knew, okay, no, I'm supposed to be a girl, like what's going on. And then about age 11, I learned the term transgender and that there were other people like me. And I was like, oh, I know. And I was all excited because I knew what was going on. And I think I saw on a TV show a transgender kid with their mom on like a talk show. And so I was like, I need to tell my mom. I was all excited. I know how to I can fix my issue now. But immediately I realized, I knew that connection, that is like being gay. And if I go and tell mom, oh, mom, I know I'm transgender, well, the thought that came to me was, mom will kill you. But I don't think she actually would have physically done that, but her reaction would not have been a positive one. And so I knew in that moment I had to hide to survive. Because I knew that this is actually, as excited as I was, that I figured it out and I knew what I could do, in a very general sense. I knew how to, I had figured out the puzzle that is me. I couldn't do anything about it. I had to hide it because that could get me harmed. And so I didn't talk about it for I didn't tell a single person until I was probably 18. And then I had been in therapy already because guess what? As soon as I started hiding, it was like, and it might have happened anyway because hereditary and everything, but I started having anxiety and depression. So I had been in therapy for a couple of years by the time I was 18 anyway. And I decided I would start telling people and see if I could, what can I actually do about it? And then I got a bunch of negative reactions, and I think at that point I wasn't going to let it stop me, but it did have me very guarded over who I was going to tell anymore, because I had some very negative reactions from people. And then I got a job, but it was kind of through our church, and so you obviously had to be very careful there, and that's where I met Candy, and so I didn't bring it up with her right away. But I was hiding at things less then, but I don't know. I didn't bring it up. And then we fell in love, and I thought, well, maybe I can make this work. Everybody's telling me, you're a boy, you need to be a guy, you need to, date. Everybody's telling me everything that I should do, and then I found somebody that I like to be with, and that would halfway fit their ideal, and so I'm not with Candy because of that ideal. I was with her because I genuinely love her, but I thought maybe I can make this work, and so I tried to continue making it work.
Making it work by being a man.
Yes,
married
I'm just gonna be a man. Maybe I'm not trans. Everybody told me, no, you're not. When I would tell them I'm transgender, they'd say, no, you're not. I don't know how a person thinks that they know better who someone else is than that person. But anyway, so I thought, well, maybe I'm not. Maybe and maybe I can make this work and be happy this way.
So speed up, and then today or last week, or when did you decide I can't do this anymore? What year?
Okay, but people should know that it has come up over.
Well, yes.
Probably at least every 4 years. Anyway.
Well, there was one point that it came up, and I said I can't. I tried to let you transition, I guess, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. And so you said, okay, never mind. I won't bring this up again. I'll just be a boy.
Yeah.
I'll be a man, and that's it. And then, about 4 years later, it came up again, and I said, okay, you know what? I can't do this. I already know. I tried. I can't do it. And you moved back to your parents for a day.
Yep.
How come only a day?
Because I missed you too much.
And you would rather have given up being yourself just to be with me and Cody.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to lose you.
So you said you'll never talk about it again. And here we are now. When was it? It was
Cody
right.
was an adult.
Yes, Cody had
made it
just
that far.
graduated high school.
Right.
You started letting your hair grow.
Yep.
Okay, now
And then we're here, and
well, this transitioning that you're doing now started. This major stuff that you're doing right now, these changes people are noticing.
This started
like a year ago.
Last year. A year and a half ago.
When did you tell your family?
Almost a year ago.
And how was that?
They were more supportive than I expected them to be.
Okay. All right. So back to the factual things. What people have noticed, and you continue with what you were going to say.
Well, so transgender. So I kind of already talked about what transgender it means and is, but what it means to me, the way that I've always felt, growing up in the LDS religion, we're taught that we were spirits before this life. We come here, we get a physical body, and then after this life, we're a spirit again for a while. And that's a very general way of describing it quickly. But basically, so I have always kind of, to me, being transgender has always felt like my spirit is female, and somehow I stood in a wrong line in heaven or something, and I ended up with a male body. Like, oh, and you can't just say, excuse me.
There's been a mistake.
I need an exchange, so here I am. It may well not be that. There are other theories. The brain develops its gender identity stuff separately from when the body's developing, and if there's different hormonal levels in the mother that can do weird things or something. There's a lot of different reasons or possibilities that could be, and I've never looked, there are some things you can actually look into, but I've not really looked into that, and I don't feel like I need to. I think I can just be myself, and that's what I want to do. I have lived, and that's, I have lived under several layers of masks my entire life, like especially since I was about 10, 11 years old. And so they say the word transition, and I guess maybe that describes it. I don't like the word transition because it's like you're changing something, and stuff is changing.
What would be the word you would rather use?
Personally,
like removing my mask?
I like unmasking.
Okay. Like unboxing a present?
Yes, and it actually takes physical effort after so long of just automatic, I'm going to act this way because everybody's watching me, to just being your natural self. It's like you have to stop and think, like, how would I react to that? What do I like? But I do prefer that way of looking at it, is more, I'm not trying to be somebody else now. I'm just trying to say, I don't need to be somebody else. I can just be me and do what I like. I like my nails painted. And that takes bravery, because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're wearing your nails, and so I've had to learn a little bit to be brave, but it's also at the same time freeing to be able to do what you like to do and feel good. One thing with being transgender that a lot of people know, maybe you don't know, is a main way that people know that they're transgender or get an idea that they are, is they struggle with what is called gender dysphoria, which is an extreme discomfort, and I would say discomfort is a bit of an understatement, but with the gender mismatch. When you look in the mirror and you see a masculine person looking at you and you feel feminine in, your soul, it's disturbing.
Like an out-of-body experience? Like, who is that?
Like, who is that, and where am I, and why have I never been able to see me in the mirror? And that is gender dysphoria. At least my best way of experiencing and describing gender dysphoria. And you do hear more about that because it used to be like, to be able to like see a doctor or something, they would say, oh, you struggle with gender dysphoria. What they don't tell you or talk about hardly at all is what is called gender euphoria. And that is the opposite. When you look in the mirror and you are happy with what you see and it feels like it matches and it's good. And when I started doing the things that felt right to me, I started experiencing that. And the best way I can describe it is the first time I wore a feminine shirt and like the neckline and the little bit shorter shoulder, I don't know, sleeve, it looked feminine. And I saw myself in the mirror and I was like, it was like I was seeing a little glimpse, not fully, but a little glimpse of myself in the mirror for the first time. And euphoria is a good word for it, or joy, that I felt when I saw that. That was way more than anything I ever felt gender dysphoria. I didn't feel good, but you almost become numb to it because it's constant. But when you do the right things that help you, that are more for you, my experience is that I felt a lot of gender euphoria, and that solidifies to me that that's who I am.
So
yeah,
there's been people, I'm sure, that are thinking or watching and like, well, if I couldn't handle it before and I couldn't stay with you and I can't do this, how come I'm still here now when you're actually doing all these unmasking? And the answer to that question is, I've gotten a lot wiser and a lot older, obviously, and I'm open to hearing a lot more of the definitions and what you're going through, and I love you.
Mm-hmm. We love each other.
And you are the same person to me. Do I like seeing you in women's clothing? No, I think it's kind of weird, but whatever. Whatever. If you are happy, if you love somebody, their happiness should be important too, not just, well, I don't like the way you're looking at. So what? The other person's happiness should matter.
Yeah.
Your happiness matters. Is it easy?
And
no.
Yours matters to me as well.
Okay,
so
this is not easy for me. For anybody who thinks this is a piece of cake joyride. Yeah. No, it's not. It's very difficult. It's very hard. But
it's difficult for me too.
But I love you, and I don't know what's ahead. Will we stay together forever? God, I hope so, but I don't know. I don't know how much I can handle. But right now, I still look at you and see the same person. Just longer hair, painted nails. Why does it matter? Yeah. People, why are you painting your nails? Well, why not?
Yep.
Why does it matter? Who says a shirt? Who says a shirt is a woman's shirt or a man's shirt? Who says? The department store?
I wear it because I like the way I look in it, and it's comfortable.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, our video is getting pretty long. Is there any other key points you wanted to say in today's video? I'm sure there'll be many questions to answer later, but what else would you like to share today?
There'll be a million questions. I would like to share. Be very nice to me and other trans people, please.
What else? Did you have some notes that you wanted to touch on?
I have some notes. Oh yeah, I wanted to say like the whole thing about the spirit, because a lot of people will say like,
God doesn't make mistakes.
God. And I don't think he does. I don't think that was honestly, as much as I'm like, well, maybe I stood in the wrong line.
You're just being funny.
I think it was most definitely on purpose. I think God loves diversity. If you look at nature, God didn't create one saltwater fish and one freshwater fish. God didn't create only fish in the sea. He's put mammals in there. He made a flying mammal, bats.
Yeah.
Birds don't just fly. You've got penguins that swim, you know, there. So in my mind, God created nature, and that is the perfect example of God. And if you look at that, he loves diversity. He did not make people
to all be
one
the same.
specific way. He doesn't want them to all be the same. And I think that that's kind of part of my purpose in all this.
Do you think it's a big trial you just have to go through?
I think for me the trial is I need to learn to be myself despite the intense fear of hate and violence coming my way. Because I and then that
because
can show,
you're wearing a women's shirt and painting your nails.
And
why would
so,
somebody hate that?
I don't know.
Okay. Because it's different and they fear what they don't know?
Yeah. But I think that it is part of my purpose to learn to be myself and to show others that it's okay for them to be themselves by being myself.
What does your daughter think about this?
She's a tricky one to know exactly, but she does know, and she seems to be okay. She doesn't like to hear a lot about it. She
loves everybody, and she's very accepting and caring.
Yes,
so
she is.
I think it might bother her, but she wants you to be happy.
Yeah. She's the best person I know, and she is an example of kindness and acceptance. So I guess, there's a quote by C.S. Lewis I like to say a lot with this, and he says, "You don't have a soul. You have a body. You are a soul. You have a body." And so I like to think, because a lot of people just want to look, like even religious people, to believe in souls and spirits, and they want to say, but your body looks like this. Yeah, I have a body. It doesn't match my soul, is how it feels to me. So I like that quote, because it kind of like hits home again. Like, I am my soul, not necessarily just what my body looks like. So yeah, I'm making this. What does this mean going forward? I don't have an end goal of like, at this point I will be 100% myself. I'm just being myself here and there and wherever I can. So it feels good to me to be growing my hair out. I really love my hair longer. I wish it could be a little thicker, but some things I can change, and some things I can't, and I've got to figure out where it's like I'm okay. I got to be okay with whatever. And so long as I'm able to be myself, then I'm okay. And so, yeah, my nails, clothes, but not, t-shirt and jeans. A friend of mine asked about a timeline. I don't have a timeline. It's just, I'm just me now, and hopefully I can look more and more like me going forward, and that probably would be a little more feminine, but I think I'm doing pretty good so far. Yeah. And then things like, I know some people, that was one thing Cody asked me once, are you going to change your name? For now, I don't really have the intent of legally changing it, but we kind of come up with the name of Jesse, and my doctors call me that. And my
what do I call you?
You call me whatever is in your mind at the moment.
Amen.
Candy doesn't really call me Jesse. If someone wanted to be respectful and make my day, call me Jesse. But I've been called many things. At work once, a manager called me Paul. I let her call me Paul for 6 months before somebody else told her, we don't have a Paul here.
You've also been F5.
Yes, I was F Cinco. No.
No?
He was F Cinco.
Oh, he was F Cinco. Okay.
To him, I was Meech.
Meech.
Which I loved. And then there was a lady called me Matt for a couple of months that I worked with.
What did
And
Pat
I just
call
let her
you?
call me that.
Pat called you something.
Pat
Butch.
called me Butch. I don't know where that came from.
I think I don't know, got confused.
But I just went with it because if somebody's talking to me and I can tell they're talking to me and they're not saying the wrong thing on purpose to be rude, then I'm not going to worry about it too much. But yes, if I hear somebody call me Jesse, it makes me feel good. The same thing with pronouns. You can hate pronouns, whatever.
I hate them.
I hate being called male pronouns. I prefer either they, them, or she, her. Personally, she, her is better, but I'll take a they, them. Candy hates they, them. She'll probably still just call me he, him. Whatever.
I call you sir.
Sir. Yes, you call me sir.
I call Cody sir. To be fair.
Sir, but yes, you
to be fair, I call everybody
it's
sir.
Just your thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't do it to be mean.
Yeah, so it's just what level of respect do you want to give a person, and I think a lot of people get really hung up on that because they're afraid to say the wrong thing. My doctor called me sir, and I may have actually visibly cringed. I don't know if she noticed that. But she caught herself, and she said, I just called you sir. I'm sorry. What would you prefer me to call you? And then she said, or what are your pronouns? And so then I told her either she, her, or they, them. And she was like, okay, I'll make a note of it. And she made a note in the chart for future, and it was handled. She said sir, and I was like, oh, and then she made it better immediately. So it's not really a big deal, but also if somebody misgenders me or, says it's not the end of the world. It helps me feel a little better if people use the one that I prefer. But, and I'm saying that for me. I'm not saying other transgender people, it may hurt them more if you use the one that they don't like. But I think that's about enough for one video. If anybody has questions, so long as you're respectful, we can answer them or make a new video. So leave a comment if you do have a question, but please be respectful. And my hope for my channel is to just continue doing the stuff that I like to do in everyday life, and hopefully show the world that a transgender person is just a regular person. I don't expect to go into a lot of trans stuff unless people are asking quite a lot of questions, and then I'll make a question and answer video. So I think that's about it. Please be kind. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks.